Good evening, students. This video is meant for class 12th. The subject is economics and the topic is elasticity of demand. Having covered in the previous videos your price elasticity and income elasticity, today I would like to cover cross elasticity of demand. So let's start. Now, the cross elasticity of demand for a product, when we are analyzing, we basically want to say that what will be the effect on the demand of a particular product due to a change in the price of a related product. It means अगर हम क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी किसी प्रोडक्ट का मेजर कर रहे हैं तो हम ये देखना चाह रहे हैं कि उस प्रोडक्ट की डिमांड पर क्या प्रभाव पड़ता है जब एक रिलेटेड कमोडिटी के प्राइस में कुछ चेंज आता है, बदलाव आता है. वो रिलेटेड जो प्रोडक्ट की बात कर रहे हैं, दैट कैन बी ऑफ टू टाइप्स. द रिलेटेड प्रोडक्ट कैन बी ऑफ टू टाइप्स. वन कैन बी सब्स्टिट्यूट एंड द अदर कैन बी complementary product, complementary good. So now let's say we want to know the cross elasticity of a product, let's say tea. Okay, now how the demand for tea will be affected due to a change in the price of a related product, let's say coffee. Now you know that coffee is a substitute for tea. ठीक है, टी, चाय, दैट इज टी, एंड कॉफी सब्स्टिट्यूट्स हैं. सब्स्टिट्यूट्स क्या होते हैं? Two or more goods which can be which satisfy the same want. One product can be used in place of the other. Tea and coffee both are hot beverages. So अगर हम क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी टी की मेजर करना चाह रहे हैं तो हम ये देखेंगे कि जब कॉफी का प्राइस बढ़ता है तो क्या प्रभाव पड़ता है टी की डिमांड पर. जब हम इस तरीके से देख रहे एनालिसिस कर रहे हैं तो हम क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ टी नाप रहे हैं. आई होप इट्स क्लियर. दिस वाज जस्ट एन एग्जांपल. नाउ लेट्स गो बाय द डेफिनेशन एंड आई विल बी मार्किंग विद रेड pen wherever I'm reading so that you can focus there only. So cross elasticity of demand is the degree of quantity demanded of one commodity to a change in the price of another commodity, and that another commodity generally will make sense when it's related. Okay, it's called cross elasticity of demand. Now here, symbol for cross elasticity is, you can see here, E small letter, E in small letters, and then X and Y you have to write at the base, equal to, this means EXY means cross elasticity of product X for Y. Y is the related product. Okay, so percentage change in the quantity demanded of commodity X upon percentage change in the price of commodity Y. Now let's say we want to measure the cross elasticity of T. So a main product is T. So X here becomes T, and Y is a related product, and coffee is a related product because it's a substitute of T. So Y basically is related product. In my example, it's coffee. So as numerator, what will I take? I need to take percentage change in quantity demanded of commodity X. So X over here means a main product for which we want to measure cross elasticity, that is T, and upon denominator we take percentage change in the price of commodity Y. So Y is the related product. In my example, it's coffee. As I told you, in this example, these are substitute. There can also be a case where the products are, the related product is a complementary good, means which is used together. So let's proceed. Now another formula, second formula for cross elasticity of demand, as you can see, is here. This is the symbol for cross elasticity of demand for product of X for Y. Okay, so delta QX, I'm reading over here, delta QX stands for change in quantity demanded of product X upon delta PY. I'm reading over here. It means change in the price of related commodity Y. Okay, multiply by, this is multiplication sign which I have overlapped with red pen. PY, I'm reading over here. PY means initial or original price of commodity Y, that is related commodity Y, related commodity. Okay, so and QX I've already clarified that X is the main commodity and Y is the related commodity. So QX is the quantity demanded, initial quantity demanded of commodity X here. Let's proceed further. Now types of cross elasticity, children. Here I'm marking. Cross elasticity can be positive, it can be negative, and it can be zero. Now positive cross elasticity is, pay attention, price of related commodity when price of related commodity rises or increases. Increase I'm denoting with an upward pointing arrow. Then what happens to the demand for the main commodity for which we are analyzing the cross elasticity? That also increases. This happens in the case of substitutes. As I told you, substitutes are those goods which can be used in place of the other. When two or more commodities can be used in place of the other, when one commodity can be used instead of the other because they both satisfy the same want, then the two commodities are said to be substitute of each other. Okay, now example of substitute goods are, let's say, tea and coffee, Coke and Pepsi, Fanta and Mirinda. Okay, now here things will become more clear when I state with the help of example. Example, price of coffee. Coffee here is a, you can see in the brackets, as the price of coffee, which is a related product related to tea basically. As the price of coffee rises, what will happen to the demand for tea? Demand for tea will also rise. Demand for tea will increase. The reason is, as the price of coffee will rise, what will happen to the demand for coffee? Demand for coffee will fall because people will find coffee costly as compared to tea. They will find tea cheaper in comparison to coffee. So a rational consumer will switch over, yeah, he'll buy lesser of coffee and more of tea. So there's a direct relation between the price of related commodity and demand for the commodity, the main commodity for which we are analyzing the cross elasticity. I hope this is clear. So when there is a direct relationship between the price of related commodity and the demand for the commodity, we say that there is positive cross elasticity of demand. This happens in the case of substitutes. I have given you the example of substitutes. Now let's proceed further. Second type of cross elasticity, children, is negative cross elasticity. As you can see, I'm reading over here. So here what happens, the two variables I'm keeping the same what I kept in the previous one. First I'm keeping the price of related commodity. As you can see here, price of related commodity I'm reading over here. Thereafter, demand for commodity. In the previous screen or previous page also, you can see here price of related commodity and demand for commodity. Now what happens is, in the previous case, in the case of positive cross elasticity, these two variables were having direct relationship. But in this case, it's inverse, just the opposite. Just see, price of related commodity. As the price of related commodity will rise, yeah, what will happen to the demand for the commodity, the main commodity for which we are analyzing the cross elasticity? It will fall. Now this happens in the case of complementary goods. Children, complementary goods are those goods which are used together. Uh, or jointly, you can say. Example is, I'll give you example, bread and butter. If I buy a loaf of bread, I want to have a sandwich, so I want to prepare sandwiches, so I'll have to buy butter also, jam. Okay, or razor and razor blade. I buy, let's say, Gillette. For shaving, I buy Gillette razor, but then I buy those razors as, and they have a particular life. After that razor doesn't, after the life of razor blade is over, I'll have to buy another razor blade. So razor and razor blade are used together. Smartphone and accessories. Yeah, if I buy a mobile phone, you can see I need to have a flip cover and tempered glass and so on and so forth. So and SIM card also. So these are all when you're planning to buy a smartphone. So these accessories also you have to buy. So these are used together. So these become complementary goods. Car and petrol are complementary goods. Printer and ink cartridges. Printer and ink cartridges, then only it will print. So these are the examples of complementary goods, the goods which are used together. So now if you're clear with the idea of complementary goods, let's proceed further with the help of example. Children, in brackets, just see, as the price of butter rises, as denoted by upward pointing arrow. Upward pointing arrow I make to denote increase in the price of butter. What will happen to the demand for bread? A normal, a rational consumer who does financial planning, who has a budget, so what will he do? Price of bread is the same. He will find making sandwiches daily costly. So what will he do? He will curtail the consumption of sandwiches. He will switch over to some other thing for breakfast. I hope it's clear. As the price of butter rises, what will happen to the demand for bread? Demand for bread will not rise, it will fall, because bread is used along with butter to make sandwich, and as the butter has become costly, therefore preparing sandwiches has also become, it has increased the cost of preparing sandwiches daily costly. So one thing which is missing is, I'll just make with reading, as the price of butter rises, what will happen to the demand for butter? Demand for butter will fall, and demand for bread will also fall. The reason I've told you. So there's an inverse relationship between the price of related commodity and the demand for commodity, as indicated by the arrows. Then we move to the last type of cross elasticity of demand, children, zero cross elasticity of demand. This happens, when two commodities are not related at all. So price of a commodity does not affect the demand for another commodity. When the price of a commodity has nothing to do with the demand for another commodity, then the answer we'll get for cross elasticity will be zero. Example, a change in the price of tea does not affect demand for ice cream. See, it's not like that. Tea and ice cream are not substitutes. Tea is a hot beverage, ice cream is, cold. So you don't use one thing for the other. Okay. So neither they are substitute nor they are complementary. It's not like that I'm having a cup of tea and soft tea or some other ice cream and having sipping tea and having ice cream. So they are not used together also. So they don't have any relation. As a result, when I calculate cross elasticity by taking the change in price of tea and the change in quantity of ice cream, it's absurd basically. The answer will be zero. I hope you're understanding. So let's have a fast recap in Hindi. क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड किसी प्रोडक्ट की क्या होती है? जब हम उसकी डिमांड पे देखते हैं प्रभाव क्या हुआ जब एक रिलेटेड कमोडिटी का प्राइस बढ़ा या घटा. ठीक है, तो इसका फॉर्मूले मैं डिस्कस कर चुका हूं. दो फॉर्मूले हैं बेटा. फटाफट से बात करते हैं पॉजिटिव क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी की. पॉजिटिव क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी तब होती है जब प्राइस ऑफ रिलेटेड सब्स्टिट्यूट के केस में होती है. सब्स्टिट्यूट वो होते हैं जो वो प्रोडक्ट होते हैं जो एक की जगह दूसरा इस्तेमाल आप कर सकते हैं. जैसे कि कॉफी की जगह आप टी ले सकते हैं. तो यहाँ आप देखो, जब प्राइस ऑफ रिलेटेड कमोडिटी बढ़ता है तो डिमांड फॉर अ मेन कमोडिटी भी बढ़ता है. जैसे यहाँ मैंने बताया हुआ, जब प्राइस ऑफ कॉफी बढ़ेगा तो कॉफी महंगी हो जाएगी, उसकी डिमांड कम हो जाएगी. लेकिन डिमांड फॉर टी क्या हो रही है? वो भी बढ़ रही है. तो प्राइस ऑफ कॉफी बढ़ रहा है यहाँ पे, तो डिमांड फॉर टी भी इंक्रीज हो रही है. ये केस है पॉजिटिव क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी का. और फिर दूसरा केस है नेगेटिव क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी का. इसमें जैसे कि आप ले लो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री गुड्स में नेगेटिव क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी होती है. जैसे कि बटर एंड ब्रेड को ले लो आप. बटर एंड ब्रेड कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री गुड्स हैं, साथ ही यूज करते हैं. कोई भी ऐसे बटर लेके नहीं खाता है स्ट्रेट अवे, बटर को ब्रेड में लगा के खाते हैं. जब प्राइस ऑफ बटर बढ़ेगा तो व्हाट विल हैपन टू द डिमांड फॉर ब्रेड? इट विल फॉल, क्योंकि सैंडविचेस बनाना महंगा लगेगा कंज्यूमर को. और लास्ट है जीरो क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी. जीरो क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी किस केस में होती है? जब दो प्रोडक्ट्स का कोई आपस में लेना देना ही नहीं है. जैसे कि मैंने एग्जांपल दिया, टी और आइसक्रीम का कोई रिलेशन नहीं है, तो इस केस में जीरो क्रॉस इलास्टिसिटी पाई जाएगी. With that, I end the class.